Let's bring you this story now. The trial of controversial Nigerian pastor Timothy Omotoso has been postponed. Reporter Athi Mtongana is in Port Elizabeth for us and joins us live. Athi, good morning to you. So talk to us about this postponement.
Well, a postponement until the 4th of February next year in 2019, and that's a provisional date that has been given here at the Port Elizabeth High Court. Now, let's get reaction from the NPA. I have with me Tsepondwalaza from the provincial NPA, the National Prosecuting Authority. That session was very brief, Tsepo. Straight to the point, Judge Mandela Makaula hearing from both the defense and the state that they're putting up a date for next year. But let's talk about why this postponement has been made. The Supreme Court of Appeal receiving papers from Doberman. Were they original papers or not? Let's talk about that a little.
Thank you, Mtongana. As the NPA, we can say that indeed it was a very short session. And from us, we were informed that actually, the papers were not the original papers. That's why the registrar couldn't put them on the roll for the judges to sit last week. So it's a matter of them doing the right thing, and then we go ahead. It's another delaying tactic, and we just are willing to say straight out that we are ready to proceed with the case, and they are still doing all this. But we will, of course, make sure that we accept what has happened, and on the 4th, which is in February on 2019, that's when we are going to be here again and see what happens.
Tsepo, the fact that Doberman petitioned the Supreme Court of Appeal to look at Judge Mandela Makaula's refusal to recuse himself and that of quashing the charges in itself meant that the case, the trial, would be longer than expected. And then now the registrar coming out from the SCA saying that the documents filed by Doberman were not the originals. Does this mean now again another lengthier trial?
Well, that is it, because we are here and we are saying we are ready to proceed, and they are still coming up with all these excuses. And well, for us as the NPA, in the interest of justice, we would like to follow all what the court says. But at some point, we will have to start this issue going so that we can finish. Because you can imagine how many witnesses that we have. It's still on its own. It's going to take a bit of time. And with all these tactics coming out, then it means the case will be even longer than expected.
So Peter Doberman now is still waiting for the decision by the Supreme Court. If he does not get it before the 4th, then what happens?
Well, that's another issue as well, but we are hoping that they will do the right thing. And in fact, they can just send the right documents today. And we are fine with it. So he makes it look like it's fine. They sent all the documents and it's okay for them. But we believe that at this stage we need to get going.
Now, there's still a lot of questions about the next witnesses that are yet to take the stand following Cheryl Zondi's testimony. Who else are we expecting, and could we expect it any time after the 4th of February?
Well, of course, it will depend on what happens on the 4th. But we know for a fact that over 48 witnesses are going to come in here. So you can imagine that we need to get cracking.
And if the Supreme Court comes out in favor of Doberman, it means then Judge Mandela Makaula would have to be removed, and then another judge, and then Cheryl Zondi would then come up and start her testimony all over again together with the rest of the witnesses.
Well, as much as I believe that we will be preempting what will come from the Supreme Court of Appeal, but that's the process. If he's said to start from scratch, then somebody else will have to come and do it.
Okay. Still a very long road here at the Port Elizabeth High Court, where Pastor Timothy Omotoso and his two co-accused face several charges, including human trafficking, sexual assault. But then Peter Doberman, the defense, that is saying that they still await a decision from the Supreme Court of Appeal. And you're hearing the NPA now saying that through the state, they heard that the registrar at the Supreme Court of Appeal saying that Doberman did not file original papers. So that means a much more lengthier court process here at the Port Elizabeth High Court.